Good morning, boys and girls. You know, you know who Tony is? Yeah. He's really, really sick in the hospital. And I wanted us to say our own prayer for Tony. Tony, remember, he's the one who wrote the book about Tiger, the butterfly, and Slim Pickens, the seagull, and then about whales being amazing, and so are you. Well, Tony loves all creatures, and I just want to say he's very respectful of me, and sometimes grown-ups treat me like they think I'm a puppet, and Tony never. And he'd always listen very carefully, and he just always knew what to say to me. He made me feel so important and so good. So let's say a prayer, our own prayer for Tony, okay? Okay. Dear God, I pray for Tony. I pray that you heal him and make him better. I pray that you make it easier for him to breathe. I pray that you make his heart stronger. And I pray that that heart knows how much we love him and care for him. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Penny. That was a beautiful prayer. I know. Okay, well, we have our final guest today. Mom, this is my part. Okay. TIP, this is Penny, your talk show host. Today, we have our final guest in this series. And as you know, this series has been one where I have interviewed retired Methodist pastors or a retired Methodist pastor's wife. Today, I am going to interview a retired Methodist pastor whose name is Pastor Mary Elise Thomas. And she's going to share with you her favorite Bible story. Pastor Thomas, would you please come forward? She has to get something. She's not running away.
No, and I'm not stepping on anybody either.
All right. Now, before we start, the question of the week. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Think back to your time as a child.
Just a long way.
I want you to remember the most beautiful thing you did, where you were sure God said, wow, that was such a nice thing you did. I'm going to remember that forever. Did you do anything like that when you were a kid?
Well, I'm not sure it was quite that one-time type thing.
Well,
But
I
yes.
wanted to ask you about naughty stuff, but my mom said I've been doing too much
We
of
can do that later.
Okay, so on to the question. What do you have to say?
Well, when I was little, when I was big, and when I was old, I always have liked children. And so they're like a magnet for me.
You like penguins?
I like penguins too.
Good.
I like anything that's young.
Good.
And I used to just sort of be magnetic with them, and I would see where there were other children, and I would just head right out there. And we would play, and we would stay out of our parents' hair, and all those things. And I would have a wonderful time, and they would too, because I thought more like they did than some of the other people.
Yeah. I like that answer. Yeah, good.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So now on to your story.
Okay, my story is a really exciting one. It even, like everybody wants now, how many times did something explode, or, you know, that kind of stuff in the movies.
Yeah.
Well, this is a story of David and Goliath. And it's about a little boy. Well, I don't know. How little is a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old? I don't think we even have any today that are that age.
We do.
10 or 12? Oh, I missed you. Okay, well,
11.
stand up so we can see how tall you are. That's pretty good size. Thank you. Okay, David was the youngest in his family. And so he was asked during a big war, you know how everybody always has a war going. Well, he was asked during one of their wars to go and take his brothers some food. Well, they packed up the big lunch, and he set out to take it to his brothers. And he got there, and here was this great big man. And he was standing there, you know, like a bully does.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what he was, a big old bully. But you know, you wouldn't think that was unusual, I guess, except there were several factors. You saw how tall they were. Okay, I brought my stick.
Uh-oh.
This is not a yardstick, it's a meter stick, so it's longer. But I asked a couple people how tall they were, and they told me one person was 6'1" and one was 6'3" back here. If they'd stand up for just a minute so we could look and see how tall that is. Thank you. And I want to show you, if we added this stick to the top of their head, that's how tall Goliath was, because Goliath was 9 feet tall.
Wow.
He had a real pituitary problem. Anyway, if you had this stick on top of their heads, you'd know how big he was. Would that be scary?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That would be really scary, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, what color your eyes are, if you have big ears, whatever. If your heart is pure, God can be helping with you, and you will be helping with him. And it doesn't matter about the size. And David saw this big giant, and he came out and he said, "Where is your army? Who's going to fight me?" Well, they didn't want to do that. So David thought, okay, I've been out watching the sheep. He was a shepherd. This was not a real high potential job. But he was out watching them, and he had to keep the lions and not the tigers and the bears, but the wolves, whatever is out there, whatever big bad animal might get them, away from them. And so if you're out there all by yourself with them all day, he practiced with his slingshot, and he was a really good shot. So he thought, well, if nobody else is going to do anything, maybe I should. And I think God was sort of giving him a little push. This is what you can do for me. And so he got his little round stones, and he got his slingshot, and the king came over to talk to him and asked him what he was doing. "You're just a little boy." He said, "But God is with me." And so the king said to him, "Do you want to wear my shield?" Well, you know, his shield weighed 250 pounds. And poor little David couldn't move with it on. So he said, "I don't think I'm going to need that." And he left it behind. And he went and he took his slingshot and his stones, and he shot. And he hit him right in the forehead where his most vulnerable place was. And he fell over dead. And then his army ran away because they didn't, you know, if you have the big bully on your side, you don't have to do much. And so they ran away.
Wow.
And David stood there, and all his brothers, and everybody came up and said, "Thank you."
Wow, because he was a hero.
Well, he didn't think he was a hero. He
Yeah.
was a helper.
Yeah.
So
He's a helper.
it doesn't matter how big you are. And you're a good size for being a helper,
Yeah.
just like all the rest of us.
Yeah.
We just have to
Okay.
remember to be kind.
That's right. Always be kind.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our talk show. Thank you, Pastor Thomas. Thank you, kids. And I'll see you another time. Goodbye.